Hello, and welcome to the Hot Dog on a Handshake Pro Wrestling Show Classic Review Series. My name, as always, is Shane Price, joined by Jayden for Judgment Day 2002, which happened almost, let's see, 24 years to the day?
Yeah, we're recording. So WWE Judgment Day 2002, May 19th, 02. We're recording this on May 17th. It'll come out a little after May 19th, and we're around the 24th anniversary here.
Give or take.
In front of 14,000 people in the Gaylord Entertainment Center in Nashville, Tennessee. Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler on the call. Kind of a shorter WWE pay-per-view. Only went 2 hours 40. And yeah, we're doing it because the weekend after this releases, MJF will be putting his hair on the line for the AEW World Championship. And on this night, future AEW wrestler Edge, Adam Copeland, and Kurt Angle put their hair on the line against each other. So we thought it'd be fun to do like a little hair versus hair thing. And
I do wish that we was current AEW wrestler versus former AEW wrestler Kurt Angle and Edge, but you know. Anywho, we're gonna start of our tradition of naming the heat match for these eras of WWE shows. Jin, what's the heat match? So give me a guess.
A guess? Shit, who was around in 02? Okay. I'm gonna throw out like 3 names just to see if I can get anybody that's in the heat match. Is Regal involved?
Yeah.
Oh wow, okay. Is it a singles match? Is it just 1-on-1?
Singles, yeah.
Okay.
For a title.
For a title. Shit, 02. Is it like fuck, what other title is there? Because we see the IC. We see. Shit, what was the Euro still?
This title does not have a lot longer in existence. Regal is actually the second to last person to hold the title.
Okay. So I'm thinking maybe it's the Euro.
It is the Euro.
Is it Tajiri?
No, it is Regal versus D'Lo Brown.
Ooh, okay. I didn't know D'Lo Brown was still a too, honestly.
I didn't either. But starting off the show, big IC title match. Eddie Guerrero, the champion, he'll defend against Rob Van Dam.
Oh yeah, the Battle of the Frog Splash. Eddie and RVD.
This was a match where I thought we'd see more teasing of the Frog Splash. I thought since they both did it, it'd be fun to go, oh. But
a little bit. There were a couple like failed ones. There wasn't really teasing, but there were a couple failed ones. They built it a little bit.
And the match doesn't even end with a Frog Splash.
Yeah. Because it's Eddie Guerrero. It ends with cheating.
He cheats.
Yeah. His real finishing move. Cheating.
And God, we love him for it. A little backslide, uses the ropes for leverage. Pretty good opener. I gave it a 3.
I give it 3.5. I really liked it. I thought it was a pretty good match. Like we said, classically Eddie finish. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Next is the match for the women's title, which felt like it was more about the people on the outside of the ring than it was on the inside of the ring. And for the first time in my history, I am saying I really wish that the Dudleys were not in this.
Yeah. So this is Trish versus Stacy for the women's title, but really, it's Devon and Bubba Ray feuding over the women's title. Like, that's what this is.
Oh, testify. I'm coming for that women's title. Oh, my brother.
Yeah, they found a way to make the women's title a part of a men's feud. It's ludicrous.
I think they should have given the women's title to Deacon Batista.
Probably, yeah.
Was this maybe his first pay-per-view appearance? Question mark.
Potentially, yeah. I don't know.
Don't quote me on that, but that's terrible.
I don't know if Orton had debuted yet. I think he did. I think he debuted in like the spring. Lesnar's already
this
there
is
later.
100% his first pay-per-view appearance in WWE. He debuted 10 days before this.
Okay, and we're gonna get Cena's debut just a few weeks after this.
Big time moments in this era of WWE.
But the match itself here was very short. Was like we said, it wasn't about the women at all. I gave it 1 3/4. I thought there was just barely a little bit to like here with Trish and Stacey. I think they did do a pretty okay job in the ring.
Trish and Stacey did a great job. Looking at the feud they're pushing here, I think it sucked. It was in a women's match. It wasn't a terrible move. It wasn't like
it was a terrible.
Let me rephrase.
I mean, it's not.
Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. It wasn't terrible feud building. It was just why was it in the women's title?
Yeah, exactly. Jim Ross did say about Batista. Devon asked Batista, did the whole like get the tables thing to Batista, and Jim Ross says his calling is to get the wood. Hilarious.
Yeah, he did. He did say that.
Wrestling being accidentally gay. Exhibit like 439. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, I gave it a 1 and like a half. I'm being nice. The next match is Lesnar making, I think, his pay-per-view debut. No, I don't think so. But it's Lesnar and Paul Heyman against the Hardy Boys. So in reality, it's Heyman. It is Lesnar versus the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, I always have thought of the Hardy Boys as guys who were like spiritually ECW guys. Like I feel like they would have been in ECW if they didn't catch such a lucky break with WWF in the 90s. But their willingness to beat the piss out of Paul Heyman was really what cements them as spiritually ECW guys. Also, I just looked it up. This is Lesnar's second or third pay-per-view appearance. His first was Backlash 2002 against just Jeff. Him and Jeff one-on-one. And then second was the Hardys versus Brock Lesnar and Shawn Stasiak. And then this was his third. That was at Insurrection. This was his third pay-per-view appearance.
You know what's crazy then? That means that that Brock Lesnar had not one, but technically 2 WWF pay-per-view appearances.
Is this the first WWE pay-per-view?
Insurrection happened like 2 days before they had to change the name.
Oh yeah. Insurrection is WWF. So yeah, Brock Lesnar has 2 WWF pay-per-view appearances.
That feels wrong.
That's a fun little bit of trivia too. This match wasn't much of a match. I wish the Hardys would have got a bit more in. They got some, but not really anything. It's pretty much just a squash.
It's made for Lesnar's push to the fucking moon and back. So I understand it. I gave it a 2. It was a fun squash. Don't get me wrong.
Speaking of Lesnar's push, though, next match, Steve Austin, infamous story there.
We could get in that story eventually, and I'm sure we'll cover King of the Ring 03 at some point. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, let me see. Let me get back to Austin.
Not 03, 02. This
02.
is Stone Cold Steve Austin against The Big Show and Ric Flair, who are a team for some reason. I couldn't figure it out.
So this is Austin, one of Austin's last real matches. Because he has this match, and then a couple weeks later on Raw, he wrestles Flair one-on-one. And then in 2003, he wrestles Eric Bischoff twice. And then The Rock at WrestleMania. And then his last match, of course, was the Kevin Owens match at WrestleMania 38. So one of the final Austin televised matches here. Because he also wrestled some house show dates on some of those in between. But
I mean, he also, quits in like a month after this?
Yeah, pretty much. I think like that Flair match, and then he quits because they want him to put over Lesnar on a Raw.
With no build.
With no build. Like,
and then he was also arrested in June after he walks out.
Yeah. I mean, that booking's crazy because if you want Austin to put Lesnar over, why wouldn't you want to do it at the pay-per-view? Why wouldn't you want to set it up to where that's the final? And it's like the old dog Austin trying to fight his way through King of the Ring.
Because Austin would have done it.
Yeah, versus the new young gun and Lesnar trying to make a name for himself. Like you could have told a really good story there if you would have just put more character. Let me see. Who did he actually beat in the King of the Ring final? I mean, he beats RVD in the King of the Ring final, which isn't like a terrible pick. But it would have been such a bigger moment if it was like he beats RVD in the semifinal and then he faces Austin. Because like that night on the King of the Ring pay-per-view, he beats Test and then RVD. And that could have been like RVD and then Austin. But of course, also assuming Austin doesn't get like arrested or whatever. Like that doesn't happen. But they didn't know that was going to happen when they booked Austin to lose to Lesnar with no build.
So the match itself was all right. It was.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought there was some great storytelling with the way that they like structured the handicap match of it all, and Austin's bit where he kept trying to get chairs involved and Charles Robinson kept having to throw away.
Also, Random X-Pac. Don't forget Random X-Pac.
Yeah, Random X-Pac. Just a classic Austin work here. Just him being him. And I actually really enjoyed this match. What'd you rate it?
I gave it a 3.5.
Okay, I have a 3 3/4, so we're not that.
The next match related to the match of the night, technically, I guess, Edge, Kurt Angle in that hair versus hair match.
Yeah. There is an awesome spot in this that I don't recall really seeing Edge do that often. But Angle's in that position where he has his arms out and they're like all twisted up in the middle and top ropes. And then while he's in that position, Edge runs, hits the ropes, and then spears him while he's stuck. I thought that was really awesome. Angle throws a spear in this match, and it's actually like a really good spear. But yeah, I thought this was an incredible match. These two really worked well together, and they were great at really selling how much they didn't want to be bald. Like, they were really great at making the stakes of this feel like they were wrestling for the world title at WrestleMania. Like, I thought that was really, really good, like, acting work from them.
I do hate to say it. The outcome of this match was really obvious from the get-go.
Yeah.
Angle's hairline was like back to here, pretty much.
Yeah, you could tell in the promo package. Like, I had that thought where I was like, watching this promo package, I'm sure every WWE fan on Earth was predicting that Kurt was going to get his head shaved. Like, it was just too obvious.
But one of my favorite stories about this match is that everybody in the match but one knew who was Angle was going to get shaved. Edge had no fucking clue until right before he went out.
Really?
Vince and Kurt ribbed Edge a month before this, and Edge was just like, well, I mean, okay. And then Edge like freaks out to Kurt about it, and then Kurt, trying not to laugh because Edge is literally like losing his mind about this, goes, if you don't like it, well, that's the business, kid.
Yeah, that's awesome. I gave this match 4 stars. I really liked this. I thought this was a great time.
I agree. It was a really fun one. I gave it a 4 as well.
Yeah. This is kind of the best run of the show here. The going from the handicap match to the hair versus hair to the Hell in a Cell. Everything else on this card is not very good, but this is a really good 3-match run. And of course, next match.
The next match, star of the Vikings schedule reveal video, Chris Jericho.
It's crazy because, like, he's not, like, character-wise, not the most Viking-ish guy in this match. It would have been made way more sense if it was Triple H. Because he just seems more, that's really funny that it's Jericho.
Versus number 239 greatest wrestler ever of all time, as voted by Jayden Gensweiler, Triple H.
Dude, fuck the greatest ever, people, dude. That's so crazy. Like, you know what? I'm gonna save it. For when the voting, when it's all released and we go over it on the pod. Gotta save it. But I do have a ranted story about that. Fucking horse shit, dude.
And if you're listening to this because of that, because you saw our shout out in that thread and you saw him with Triple H, I did it. I promise I did.
Triple H, I voted like 50 something. Like, I voted him like 57th or something. Like, it's not. Yeah, no. You know what? I'll save it. I'll save it. Let's talk about this Hell in a Cell match, which was a very good match, by the way, between two very good wrestlers. Also, I know we do Apex Mountain a little bit later. Is this the best ref bump of all time? The way Tim White goes fucking flying into that cage.
I mean, the dude gigged.
Yeah, and then he bladed. I really liked it, especially from a story standpoint. Like, it really sells how dangerous the Hell in a Cell like is supposed to be. That even like the ref isn't safe. With that, like, I thought that was really, really great. And I thought it was a great match as a whole. The whole last segment, I don't know if you felt this, but it was so nerve-wracking and terrifying because the top of the cell was so flimsy, and it felt like they had like no footing, and like literally any movement could have caused it to fall apart, and they fall through down to the ring. Like, it felt so crazy dangerous. That last bit of the match where they're on top of the cell, it was insane. I don't know. What do you think of this one?
I will say that ref bump from Tim White ended his refereeing career.
That's right. I forgot about that.
He tore his rotator cuff and then got put back on TV trying to kill himself.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. He tries to kill himself in front of like 19-year-old Josh Matthews. It's crazy episode of SmackDown or pay-per-view, whatever that was on.
SmackDown. That started on pay-per-view.
That started on a pay-per-view. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Anyways,
But yeah, that's crazy. It ends his, anything you got on this match though?
It was a very good match. I do think that given its placement in the card, I kind of wish this was the main event because it was a lot better than the next two matches. But and given who's in it too, Chris Jericho Triple H is a main event level match at this time. At this time in WWE.
Oh yeah, I mean, it had just main evented WrestleMania, didn't it? Wasn't that the
Yeah,
WrestleMania X8 main
I'm
event?
pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Also, like that, it was such a hotter rivalry at the time. Like you watch the video package for this, and you watch the video package for Hogan Taker. In Hogan Taker, big time match. They were definitely telling a story there, but it was a much newer story, whereas we were far deeper into this Triple H Jericho rivalry, and so it really felt like this should have main evented. What'd you give it star wise? Because I really like this one.
I gave it. I give it a 4.
I have 4.5. So yeah, I'm a bit ahead of you. I really enjoyed it. Just the something about that, like I keep bringing it up, but something about that ending segment with how much the cell was dipping. It felt just as dangerous as any like light tube barbed wire bullshit we've watched. Like it just felt so scary watching that. Even though obviously if they had fallen through, it's something I would have known about. But still, you're watching the match and you're like, "Oh my god, these guys are gonna die."
When did they? When did they reinforce the roof of their Hell in a Cell?
I'm trying to remember. It had to have been. It had to have been not too long after this. I feel like it got a little bit sturdier. Because yeah, I wonder. I wonder if we go back, like if we go back and watch the like 2005 or in Taker Cell. I wonder how it looks then. It's definitely by the time we get to like the PG era and Hell in a Cell becoming a pay per view, it's definitely solidified. Like it's like 2009 or whatever. By then, it's pretty solid. I would say probably somewhere in the mid 2000s was when they really. I don't know. I'd have to go back and kind of watch the history of the matches and look through them. But yeah, that concludes the good part of the show. Back to the regularly scheduled crap.
The next match is
You look so good to me.
America's favorite gay couple, Billy and Chuck.
Crazy, dude.
Maybe at this time in America, their favorite gay couple.
I don't know. Was Will and Grace still on?
It might have been
Uh,
America's second favorite gay couple of 2002. Billy and Chuck versus Rico and Rikishi for the tag team titles.
yes. So this is Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo in a played for laughs act like in storyline accidentally gay. Obviously it was on purpose what they were doing, but storyline they're accidentally in a gay relationship with each other. Very not something you could do today.
Um, I need to reintroduce Billy and Chuck one more time. Give me a second. PWI Tag Team of the Year 2002, Billy and Chuck.
Really? Well, I mean, PWI does those lists based on kayfabe, and they were World Tag Team Champions. They're not bad wrestlers. Like they could have been a really cool tag team if it wasn't like overshadowed by how, like, even as like a kid, like when I was like 10 or 11, I got at like a in 2009 they did like the best SmackDown moments for like the 10-year anniversary, and I got it somewhere. I somehow ended up with this DVD box set, and there's Billy and Chuck stuff in there with like the wedding ceremony and stuff. And even as like an 11-year-old kid, I was like, this doesn't seem quite right. So, very, very like poorly aged storyline here. But if they didn't have that, if they were just booked as like an actual like badass tag team, because they're both like 6'6", like they're tall dudes, they could have been booked as like a real badass tag team. But instead, they did this quote unquote comedy angle with them, and I do like the bit of making the wrestlers like manager, the tag team's manager, team up with the guy they're feuding with to challenge for the titles. That's an interesting story. But
Rico, not gonna lie, kind of a hooper.
Yeah, he did pretty good. Overall, I thought it was kind of whatever. Not that bad, not that good. I give it 2 1/4. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 1.5 just for Billy and Chuck. I can't.
Oh yeah, I mean the storyline, like the whole character and storyline of it all is like a 1/4 star. But I thought that if you just watch the match and watch how Billy and Chuck go and how Rikishi goes, and like we said, Rico actually did pretty well. I gave it 2 1/4. I thought it was just kind of mid.
Then we get with the WWE Undisputed Championship, brother Jack Dude.
First ever pay-per-view WWE title match. Maybe the first total. I don't know if he had defended it on like Raw or something.
Hulk Hogan against the Undertaker.
Yeah. They actually spend a good chunk of time on this era in the Hogan doc that was just put out on Netflix. So this is the first one was on Raw the week before this. So this is the second ever WWE title match, first on pay-per-view. But like I was saying, they devote a good amount of time to this era of Hogan in the Hogan doc, and he is just so cooked. Like at this point, he barely has a back, and his knees are going, and it's just really being driven by trying to make money, really. And he still like had the bug for the business. He didn't want to give it up yet. It's one of those things like when a guy just goes a bit too long. Really, he really should have retired with WCW. Like he should have just when WCW died, he should have been like that's it. And he could have still made appearances as like a side role. Like he could have been a general manager or some other shit. But Hogan was just gone. Like I would argue he was never that good of a wrestler, but he was at least like a decent athlete, steroids or not. Like he was at least a decent athlete, but he just even lost that at this point. So Taker carried a lot of this match as best as he could.
I mean, Vince interference, Hogan
short for a pay-per-view main event WWE title match. Like it was only like 11.5 minutes, which feels so.
What did you give it?
I gave it 2.5, and most of that's just props to Undertaker for how hard he tried to carry this match. You know what I mean? Like I didn't want to like, because Undertaker really was giving his all here, and he was. I mean, you could argue that the American Badass is like kind of the peak of his career. Like he was doing really good work at this time, so I didn't want to like penalize him too much for what he was working with. So I just went 2.5. What'd you give it?
I gave it a 2. I thought it was whatever,
Yeah,
eh.
definitely would have been better suited to have the Hell in a Cell main event, like I said earlier. All right, categories. Best moment has to be when Angle eventually gets his head shaved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be Angle getting his head shaved. That was so much fun. Like they do a whole bit where in between the matches, Edge is like chasing Angle, trying to get him, and then eventually before the main event, he actually shaves his head. That was really fun. MVP of the night. Who would you go here? I feel like Edge and Angle both have good cases. I think Jericho and Triple H have good cases. I feel like Eddie and Rob did really well. Where would you go?
I go Eddie and Rob. I really like that one. I think for what this kind of serves, yeah.
For MVP, would you go Eddie or Rob? Who would you put a little higher?
Eddie because he won.
Eddie, okay. Yeah, I think I'm leaning Angle. I think just everything with the match and then all the aftermath with him trying not to get his head shaved was really fun. Heat check. Best performance, short amount of time. You could go Deacon Batista here. Could give it to Tim White for the bump. I know he was involved in a good portion of that match, but Tim White could definitely get it. Rico, where do you want to go with heat check?
I'm gonna say Rico. I really liked Rico.
Yeah, I'm leaning Rico too. I kind of liked what he did. Um, Gear of the night. I don't really remember anything standing out too much. Obviously, RVD's gear is always good. I liked what Edge was rocking at this time. Biker Taker is always a good shout. I don't know. Not really a big contender there. Let's see. Apex Mountain. I don't think this is really the apex for anything. Like, I don't know if there's anywhere you could go with ref bumps. Is the only thing I can think of with the apex. Is this the
Yeah,
apex like American Luchas de Apuestas?
I guess.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look more into it. Um, Surprise of the show, Rico. Right? I mean, I think it's got to go to Rico.
Yeah.
That or Tim White blading. That was pretty surprising. Those coolest athlete that could have been there. Now Nashville only really have the Titans, so it's got to be like
Steve McNair.
or Eddie George. Eddie George would have been pretty sick too if he was there. Those are the two. I did try to look up like the minor league baseball team in Nashville this year. And the only person even kind of interesting was Scott Service. Could have been there. He was playing minor league ball in Nashville at the time. But I think Steve McNair is a good pick. Recasting. Where would you want to recast here? Hair versus hair?
Let's do hair versus hair, yeah.
Okay. Who is somebody right now where it's going? Like they're gonna be bald eventually.
I mean, Maxwell Jacob Friedman before Turkey.
It's true. Could have gone with that. Who else? It usually saves when this happens. Browser just crashed. Oh, you dude, you know who's going? Mark Davis. He does not have much time left, hair wise.
You just see current Mark Davis. Hold on. I haven't paid attention to this hair.
Yeah, I don't really watch this.
Yeah, yeah.
Cash Wheeler might be going a little bit too. Just look at the AEW roster.
I think MJF or Mark Davis is your best option.
Do you want to just go MJF? Keep it with the
I mean, it makes the most sense. He's going to be in a hair match soon.
hair versus title.
Hair versus title, yeah.
Who should put their hair on the line? Who would be the edge comp here? Younger guy, great hair. Up and coming.
He just signed AEW, Paul White. No, I think of has great hair. I think guys like Andrade, but he's not younger. Bandito,
Roosh, maybe?
Roosh, Clark Connors.
Honestly, I know we said MJF, but Roosh, Mark Davis, hair versus hair sounds awesome.
Let's just go with that.
Roosh, Mark Davis, hair versus hair.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's see. Recasting best double feature. I mean, old man Hogan wise, you could go him and Shawn at SummerSlam a few years later. I think.
Yeah.
Hell, you could do like
maybe
maybe
for
a way out
bad Hogan matches. You could go Halloween Havoc 97.
Yeah. Triple H Hell in a Cell matches, you could go like No Way Out 2000 against Foley, and then this one against Jericho. I'm sure Edge and Angle had some other bangers. Yeah, I think there's a few things to go here. Nothing for the Criterion Collection. Nothing even close here. What would you go with for the classic Handshake? Edge versus Kurt being out of contention. What would you say, Shane? Oh, can't hear me. Okay, what are you going with for the classic Handshake here?
I'm gonna have to go with the Hell in a Cell match.
Hell in a Cell, Triple H and Jericho. That's where I'm going to. I think that was match of the night.
I think that was the best match of the night.
Yeah, even counting Edge versus Angle, which was out of contention, but
yeah.
Even if it was, I still would have gone Triple H and Jericho. What would you give this out of 10?
Maybe like a 6. The highs were highs, the lows were lows, but that three match run kind of makes up for it.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. So that's where I went to. That also, by the way, this is 3 classics in a row where we've agreed exactly on the number. But that 3 match run is very, very good. The rest of it is down the middle or worse. Oh, and Eddie RVD is very good too. So like the first match and then that 3 match run is really good, but the rest of it not great. So yeah, I think a 6 is a good place to land on that. So yeah, I think that's it. If you want to close it out here.
Well, our next pay-per-view is going to be a trip to the part of continuity that I wish we could forget. Over the Limit 2011. I don't remember why. I think because you hate me.
It's because Orton and Christian. We've done Capital Punishment in the past. We're doing the rest of the matches from that Orton Christian rivalry. Just because, like, by happenstance, we were planning on doing SummerSlam 2011 and Money in the Bank 2011 later this year. So I thought, why not just do all of them and do the Over the Limit one as well? And sometimes it's fun to watch a pretty damn bad one. Arguably, those are our best episodes, is when we watch something really bad.
This one has a really bad, but maybe it'll be fun.
Yeah. All right. You wanna take us out of here?
So that will do it for us here at Hot Dog and Handshake Wrestling Show. Thank you for listening to our takes about Judgment Day 2002, and as always, enjoy wrestling.